Welcome back to Algebra 1. This is lesson 5-13, the last lesson in chapter 5, and we're going to look at solving some word problems using factoring. Okay? And there are two sort of general categories. So there are going to be two parts to this lesson. We're going to do this problem first, and then one that is very similar, but just a little bit different, second. It'll be part 2. So, what I highly suggest you do when you're doing this is to draw yourself a picture so you can see what you're dealing with. We have a rectangle, and I've drawn it in blue over there. So our original rectangle, it says, is twice as long as it is wide. So our blue rectangle is W meters, we don't know how wide it is, W meters wide, and 2 times W, because it's twice as long as it is wide. Okay? Now then, when 4 meters is added to its length, so our new rectangle is in red. 4 meters, so we've got the original blue rectangle plus 4 more meters here. Okay? And 3 meters is subtracted from its width, so we take this 3 away from the width. So our new red rectangle there, it's longer, but it's squishier. It's not quite as wide. Okay? The area of the rectangle, the new rectangle, has an area of 600 meters squared. So the red rectangle has an area of 600 meters squared. So how do we find the area of a rectangle? We multiply the length times the width. So our red rectangle, its length is, its width is W minus 3. And its length, excuse me, is 2W plus 4. So W minus 3 times 2W plus 4. Width of the red rectangle times its length equals, and they told us what it's equal to 600 meters squared. 600. Okay, so now we have to multiply. We have to actually FOIL here. First, we get 2W squared, outer plus 4W, inner minus 6W, last minus 12. And we're going to want to bring that 600 over here. So we're going to subtract 600 from both sides. Remember, because we want to have an equation equal to 0 so that we can factor. Okay, now we have 2W squared minus 2W minus 612 equals 0. Now, the first thing we should notice there is we can take a 2 out. We can factor a 2 out. And if we divide everything by 2, we get W squared minus W minus, let's see, when we divide this in half, we get 306 equals 0. So we've divided both sides, everything on both sides by 2. All right, now we have to factor. We have to factor this into, let's see, a positive and a negative number. And they have to be relatively close together because when we add them, we get a minus 1. So let's take our 306 over here and let's factor it. Let's see, we get 2 into that is 153. And 3 into that is going to be 51. And 3 into that is what, 17. Okay. So it looks like if we take 3 times 3, that's 9, times 2, that's 18. 18 and 17, because 18 times 17 is going to give us 306. So if we make the 18 negative, we have W minus 18 and W plus 17. That'll give us what we want here. Now, since this is a rectangle, it does not make sense to have a negative 17 width. We don't live in the Star Trek world. So our only answer that's acceptable, because our width is a positive number, or 0, is going to be 18. So we know that our original rectangle is 18 by 36. And let's see, what does it ask? It asks for the dimensions of the new rectangle. So the red rectangle, well, that's going to be, put our 18 there, that's going to be 15. Put our 18 here. 36 plus 4, that's 40. So our changed rectangle is 15 by 40. Our original one is 18 by 36. Right? And that's one type of problem. So as long as you draw yourself a picture and then step by step translate the words to the changes that are made in the picture, right? And then you need an equation equal to 0 that you can factor. And you're there. Now, let's look at, in the next part, we'll look at another problem very similar to this.